So hello everyone, and thank you for tuning in to our panel discussion on the future of MMA and BJJ in the Philippines. My name is Gab and I'll be facilitating today's discussion, which is presented by Dojo Drifter Media. I also want to give a shout out to our sponsors, Ikiro Jiu-Jitsu, who will be raffling off some prizes today, so stay tuned for that. I also want to give a shout out to Dojo Active, which will be providing everyone who pre-registered with a little something. On that note, let's get started. The goal here really is to start a conversation about the future of the industry we love. So I've invited a number of panelists to provide some unique insights. They are coaches, gym owners, promoters, and die-hard martial artists. And I'm grateful to each one of them for taking the time to share their input and experience. Our first panel will discuss the business end of things. Yes, these panelists are also coaches, but they're also gym owners, and it will be interesting to get their points of view. Our first panelist is Jerry Legaspi, owner of Round 1 MMA and BJJ. He's also the coach of the National Sambo and Combat Sambo teams. He's a BJJ brown belt and a kickboxing and MMA coach. With him will be Toffy Ilagan, a BJJ black belt and owner of Project Lifestyle Manila, Fight Factory Manila, and Fit Lab 24/7. So welcome Coach Jerry and Professor Ilagan. Now let's jump right into it. Your first question is, what are the challenges that your business has faced during the lockdown?
I think bago mag-March, medyo may problema na kami. Kasi San Juan una naapektuhan sa virus. Parang unang cases andun sa San Juan. And before that, may hostage taking. So medyo nagkaroon kami ng problema. Like end of February na, halos wala na kami estudyante. And then nagkaroon ng lockdown and everything. Halos wala kami mga students. So malaking problem namin. So pag walang students, walang income. Then natagtagan pa kami ng no parking around the area. So sabay-sabay. We don't know what to do actually.
Okay. And then when it comes to your coaches, how have they dealt with this then?
Okay. Lahat ng coaches namin right now, walang income. They applied for some DSWD programs. Yung mga licensed GAB holders na assist naman ng GAB. So, ay paano, may konting kabuhayan, pero not enough pa rin.
So that really sounds like a tough situation for your coach, and I really wish you all the best in getting through that. How about you, Tofi? Can you share with us some of the challenges your business has faced?
Siyempre, yung pinasara siya ngayon dahil sa COVID. Tapos, yung members, kailangan namin i-freeze yung membership nila out of... Kasi siyempre, hindi mo nila nagamit yung facilities. Yung coaches, we had to shell out money, allowance, and some of the owners, partners, bigay rin ng mga konting relief goods, ganyan. It's very different. Yung regarding with the rent, it's different scenario eh. Or different topic na ba yan?
You could tackle it now if you want.
The rent is depending on the buildings eh. So iba, some are kind enough to waive it, tapos send a letter every month. But there's like 2 or 3 na gusto mag 50% na muna or sige na staggered na lang yung rent namin for the time duration ng COVID.
Okay, I get you. Yeah, so it's very tough. There's no money coming in, but there's still rent. In light of that, do you think that gyms should reopen during GCQ? Let's start with you, Coach Jerry.
I think we have to wait for a long time before we start doing like jiu-jitsu and like MMA sa Philippines. Kasi we don't want to be the gym na maka-infect sa ibang tao. Medyo mahirap talaga. Walang pang proper guidelines and medyo nakakatakot pa rin talaga.
Yeah. Yes, it's definitely difficult to take chances at a time like this. But how about you, Tofi? What's your take on opening gyms during GCQ?
Yeah, well, to survive, I think kailangan magbukas yung gym, pero following the guidelines of social distancing, yung mga ganun, like baka pwede i-rapid test muna yung mga coaches, limited service, I see some boxing gyms na they do mitts, pero naka face mask, tas they sanitize yung mitts. Of course, yung jiu-jitsu tricky part, I think matagal pa yung jiu-jitsu kasi super anti-social distancing yun eh. Pero if kaya, yun, yung some services with proper guidelines na papayagan ng ITF or CDC na na safe naman siya, hopefully sana mabukas with limited services to keep everyone afloat with coaches and gym owners.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah, so hopefully that does happen. And looking ahead, how do you think gyms will adapt post-pandemic? So let's have you, Coach Jerry, first.
Sa Muay Thai, Jiu-Jitsu, Muay Thai or boxing yun, medyo kaya gawa ng paraan. Pwede ka mag-mix like what Toffy said. Pwede mag-mask yung coach or yung what's called, yung tinuturuan yung student. So, may mga paraan na pwede maging safe sa magkaroon ng distance from one another. So, yun, baka pwede talaga mangyari. Muay Thai at boxing gyms.
Do you think anyone will be sparring once the gyms open?
Mitts, more of like for fitness, like I don't know if fights are gonna go on in Asia, but more for fitness, like do lots of shadow bagging, a few rounds of mitts with the coach, yun pwede talaga. And then wiping everything down afterwards, before and after.
Mm-hmm. Yes, I agree. Cleanliness will be very important in our gyms. How about you, Tofi? What is your take on how gyms will adapt?
Well, if yung mga matigas yung ulo, feeling ko more on individuals na lang yung mag-jiu-jitsu. Like, they have like a monogamous partner na sila muna mag-training together, like one or two or three lang sila. If some gusto nila yung mga solo individual drills lang, of course, if yung tawag namin, joke namin monogamous partner, sana they both get tested muna. I see people selling naman yung mga rapid test. It's not as good as swab, pero at least they did something na to have a basis lang man na okay. Regarding boxing, Muay Thai, Jiu-Jitsu, boxing, Muay Thai, it's more like aerobics. Yung bagging, heavy baggings, pero wala mo nang mga sparring. Yung Jiu-Jitsu para sa akin yun talaga, yun yung pinaka-solution, yung monogamous partner muna. If papayagan ng whatever government agency.
Okay. In that sense, because smaller groups or one-on-one training typically mas expensive. Do you think there will be a shift in pricing? Like, will prices go up, or is this not a time to bring prices up?
Regarding pricing, I don't think it's advisable siguro kasi everyone's suffering eh. Your customers doesn't have that enough business rin naman in their end. We have to tighten up lang talaga. If yung iba who can afford to say no, okay lang taasan nila. Pero in general, I think di kaya taasan eh. Kasi everyone's suffering na yun financially.
Yes, I couldn't agree more. And I'd like to thank the both of you again for your time and your insights. Do you have a parting message for the community before I let you go?
I hope everybody is working out at home, staying safe, and when everything becomes normal or comes back to normal, then we will start doing jiu-jitsu and our sports again. What requires proper a real contact.
I'm sure a lot of people are looking forward to that as well. And Coach Toffy, any parting messages?
Yeah, hopefully we'll see each other soon on the mats. I guess this is the time to support your coaches during this time of COVID because everyone's suffering, especially in the line of fitness industry rin, isa mga pinaka-affected sa COVID. Medyo taboo kami ngayon. Yeah. There. Stay fit.
Awesome. All right, thank you again, Coach Jerry Legaspi and Coach Toffy Ilagan. Before we go to our next set of panelists, I'm happy to announce that we have a raffle winner, Mr. Cesar Marasigan. You've just won GC's care of Ikero BJJ, and we will contact you on how you can claim your prize. There will be another raffle at the end of the panel discussion, so don't go anywhere. Next up is our panel consisting of coaches who've successfully transitioned to a digital platform, providing BJJ lessons online. Our first panelist is Jolly Ko, a BJJ brown belt and a member of the national jiu-jitsu team. She's also a partner and instructor at Fight Factory Manila and at Carpe Diem Manila. She will be joined by Annie Ramirez, a judo black belt and BJJ brown belt. She's a member of the national jiu-jitsu team and is an instructor at John Bailon Club de Jiu-Jitsu. And the third panelist is BJJ brown belt Mara Rafael. She's the manager and BJJ instructor at Origins Athletics. So my first question is, how have you stayed engaged with your students and with your members?
So for Carpe Diem, we started this online class. So we segregated the classes into fundamentals, tapos advanced, and then there's kids class. So, okay. So, sorry, may nagpapadeliver. Pero anyway, yun na. So we segregated the classes into three different classes. So fundamentals, yung advanced, and then the kids class. So people will just sign up and then we do this online programs. Tapos every week there's like three classes in a week. Yun lang. It's hard. You can only teach this parang so much. So every week is a struggle din talaga. But we're hanging in there. We're trying to get the students to be motivated. So far it's it's good naman.
And what's unique about your scenario is that you are about to launch Carpe Diem Manila and then the pandemic struck. So how did the pandemic affect your plans?
Actually, parang it's alam mo yung parang kang nagising sa nightmare na parang kala mo na nananaginip ka lang, but this is the reality now that we have to face. For me, the number one thing that I want to do right now is to secure the students. I don't want to risk anyone's health or what. Kahit na nandun yung sadness na sana what could have been na nagte-training lahat ngayon na parang preparing for all these competitions, but we can't do anything. I don't want to risk anyone's health. So until lumabas yung gamot, hindi talaga muna. So that's the decision right now. We're doing it one day at a time. We're not in a hurry. So we're just waiting every day. Alam mo yun? So kung ano yung mga nangyayari sa news and all, yun lang right now.
Okay, thank you for those insights, Coach. And we'll move over now to Coach Annie. How have you stayed engaged with your students?
Actually, 1 month, after 1 month pa lang kami nakapag start ng online training with team. Then some of them lang, hindi din lahat kasi maybe some of them busy doing stuff. Hindi ko lang alam kung ano. Then medyo mahirap sa sitwasyon namin kasi like ako lang mag-isa ngayon kasi si coach is naka-deploy because nasa airport siya, so hindi siya pwedeng parang may duty siya sa bayan dan muna bago sa team. So ako muna yung in charge sa online training. Then nag-start pa lang kami lately lang. Then one class lang naman like MWF afternoon kasi so far aminado ako, old school style ako eh. Hindi ako matechi, hindi ako maano. Pero like, na-realize ko na kailangan ko rin makikonnect sa kanila kasi yun yung way kung mag-reach out na para lang tingin ko, kasi ako napapagaan ng loob ko napapagaan yung loob ko through workouts kasi yan yung lagi kong ginagawa bago pa nagkaroon ng COVID. Then, parang naisip ko, ba't hindi ko sila yayain mag-workout? Kung sino yung gusto, sino yung kaya, sumabay. Then, nag-ano ako ng MWF na training namin. Then, ako yung nagli-lead. Then, sinasabayan ko din sila. Like, kung pagod sila, pagod din ako. Parang ganun. Hindi pwedeng hindi sila mapapagod. Parang ganun yung aim ko for training. Then, so, ayun. Yun lang yung medyo mahirap yung adjustment kasi kailangan strong ka para makita din ng team na strong. Maging ano rin sila, ma-inspire din sila sa'yo na maging matatag sa ganitong sitwasyon.
Okay, thank you for that, Coach Annie. Now, the same question for you, Coach Mara. How has Origin stayed engaged with its students?
So, initially when the lockdown started, we kind of first were just thinking that, okay, since they gave a definite as to when we would reopen, we were very hopeful that this is kind of like a temporary break. So we actually never really planned on doing online classes at first because we were on that assumption that we were going to go back eventually. But as time went on and we kind of slowly realized that it's going to be a while until we can actually go back to our regular training. Michael, or Meet You, the owner of Origins Athletics, and I kind of talked and we kind of said we have to do something to stay connected with our students. So initially what we did was for adults, we offered kind of like a solo drills class that we could do together. So we would come up with a program and then kind of work out together. So it's a good way to stay connected with all the students, kind of check up on how everyone is doing. And at the same time, help them feel, because a lot of the times students are like, I don't want to forget my jujitsu. I'm going to forget everything that I've learned, especially those that have just been starting out. So it's one way to kind of keep them motivated that no, you're not going to forget it that easily. We're all here. We're going to work together to try to get through this. So that's something we started pretty early on, and we still have that ongoing now. So for our adults, it's a once a week class that we have. So we just invite all of our active members. And then if you just want to join and feel like you want to get a good workout in, it's something that we have. Initially, it was like a solo drill class, but then eventually, because again, there's only so many solo drills that you can do, how we kind of changed it and made it into like a more progressive program was we call it our jiu-jitsu and fitness flow. So we combine different like movements that are jiu-jitsu based and then different fitness movements into one kind of workout for the day with a theme. So say for example, the theme for today is explosiveness. So all the different movements that you're going to do will work on explosiveness. Or if the theme for today is strength. So that kind of thing. So it puts a little bit more structure into the program, also helps students feel like they are progressing and feel like they are doing something to help their jiu-jitsu, because we always like to remind them that to improve your jiu-jitsu, aside from just doing jiu-jitsu, strength training, doing functional movements will also greatly benefit that, especially if like you have a lot of injuries. We do like mobility classes, that kind of thing. So kind of to reframe that mindset, to think that yes, you can't actually train jiu-jitsu, but there are things that you can do in this moment to still improve your jiu-jitsu, so that when you do come back to actual training, it won't be as bad, right? Those things that maybe you've neglected, like your mobility or maybe your cardio, now is like the perfect opportunity to focus on that, so that when we all go back to training, you actually have improved even just a little bit, right? And then for our kids, so we also have a pretty big kids program. We also initially just started offering a couple of like jiu-jitsu based movement classes. And then eventually it became a regular thing. So we offer kids classes 4 times a week online. And it's similar with the adults. At first, it started out to be jujitsu based with all the movements. And then eventually, because there are only so many things that you can do, we've kind of integrated basic fitness movements like squatting and doing planks, that kind of thing. And explaining to the kids that all of these are going to help you get better in your jiu-jitsu, right? Having a strong body, strong mind, all of that is still going to translate into your ultimate bigger goals of getting better at jiu-jitsu. So I think those are kind of the small things that we've been doing to still keep in touch with our students and keep them motivated and fit as well.
Yeah, well, these all sound like great efforts, but tell me about some of the pros and cons of doing online classes. Do you think this is sustainable? Let's start with Jolly.
Actually, to be honest, our sport, kasi close contact eh. So, it's really hard to teach without physical presence, alam mo yun. You have to do these moves that you need contact. So, sometimes it's so hard, but somehow we make it work and we diversify and we mostly do repetitions, and siguro for now, yun na lang muna. Ikutan natin yung mga moves na pwede natin gawin ng walang partner, or parang gagamit tayo ng mga materials that we have at readily at home. Parang yun lang, lumalabas yung creativity ng mga tao dito sa pandemic na nangyari. Alam mo yun, yung mga bagay na you're not parang not in a million years na naisip mo na gagawin mo, ginagawa mo na ngayon. So, yun lang for me, yun yung nangyayari ngayon. And also, in reality, iba pa rin talaga kapag we're in the gym setting. Yung talagang what we normally used to do. I think yung people outside the industry, kapag tumitingin sila sa gym, iniisip nila pawis, dumi, or what. Hindi nila naiisip na parang yung everyday na ano natin, na ginagawa sa gym, sobrang sanitized, sobrang linis. Alam mo yun, parang hindi nila nare-realize na yung ginagawa ng mga tao ngayon na naglilinis and nagsasanitize, dati pa natin ginagawa. So parang yun lang. Parang I think parang nagulat din ako na parang we're in this situation now. So we're just trying to be creative with everyday, alam mo yun, the online classes and all.
And do you think it's something that we could sustain? I mean, how long can you have online classes for?
Kung sa classes lang walang problema, we do it for free for our students, for our members in Carpe Diem, because we just want the connection with the students. We just want to be there for them. We don't want them to feel na parang, oh, wala lang physical presence, wala na yung team. But no, we're there for them, and we want them to still sweat with us, or parang remember all these moves that we did in the gym before. Remind them that once you used to do this. So para hindi mo rin makalimutan, alam mo yun. So, hindi siya sustainable for me, but we're gonna do it just to have that presence and support para sa team, and to everyone na gustong mag-join. We also do that. Yun.
Okay. I'm sure that support is much appreciated. And Mara, what can you say on the topic? What are the pros and cons of doing online jiu-jitsu classes?
So I think the shift towards online had to be quick, and I think for us, we just had to be super creative. Echoing what Jolly said, I don't think there's anything that can replace actual training with a partner. So initially, when we started our online classes for both kids and adults, we were very clear with both parents involved and our students that this in no way is supposed to like make you think that this will replace your regular training or kind of mimic the kind of training that we used to do. Like right off the bat, we kind of share with them that what we're trying to do is this online channel that we're diving into is to supplement the training that we can't have right now, right? So it's hard because like even if you want to teach like technique-based classes, again, having your instructor there with you, they're just things that you have to feel in order for you to actually really understand and get that move down. And in order for you to practice that move and to see if it works or not, I mean, it's not really going to work if you're doing it by yourself or even with a grappling dummy. I don't think that can ever replace like an actual training partner. So I guess one thing that like I guess would work is working for us right now in the online classes is our students have been receptive in terms of understanding that yes, this isn't like our regular training, but they do feel that it helps, especially when we focus on certain aspects that they've voiced to us that they're having trouble with, particularly like cardio endurance. So we do a lot of kind of HIIT style workouts because a lot of them are always like, I'm always gassing when I'm sparring, or I'm just always so out of breath. So we're really just trying to channel in, or like, what is it that you really want to get good at, right? And then let's focus on that, get really good at those aspects that could actually be hindering your jiu-jitsu training, right? So maybe you want to be sparring more rounds. Maybe you want to be pushing the pace a little bit more in every training session. By reframing that mindset into thinking that this is my new goal that will help me with my bigger goal to improve my jiu-jitsu has been super helpful. Even with the kids, it's also been a bit challenging because they're used to the games that we play in class and learning the different techniques and that kind of thing. So we've also just had to be super creative in terms of shifting that to an online setting. So what's fun now is like when we do our reps of our bridges or our shrimps, like how we make it fun and interactive for them is like we actually try to explain and break it down to them, like what muscles you're using, how you're doing it, and everything like that. So in a way, at least they're still learning something new. They're still gaining something from the online training. And in the end, ultimately, it's just to help everyone transition back to regular training with more ease, right? Hopefully, we tell our students, hopefully when you come back, you're less injured, your cardio is better, you're a little bit more flexible, that kind of thing. I think one of the challenges or the cons of online training is connectivity. So we know that a lot of, not everyone has stable internet connection. So that's why we have some students that can't join our online classes. Or aside from the stable internet connection, as the instructors, there are a lot of times where you get disconnected or you're lagging. So what you and I do is we always have to kind of tag team so that if I'm having like laggy internet, he'll kind of hop in just so that it doesn't delay the class and vice versa. So I think it's a challenge in terms of that, especially when you can't really impose on other people, oh, you have to have like this kind of internet connection to join the class, right? Is it sustainable? I would think as long as you keep in mind and put it into perspective to the students that this is not like real, like your actual jiu-jitsu training, I think it can be. I think the online platform is a great way in terms of being able to reach a lot more people, especially those that aren't close to the proximity of your physical gym. So having online content that could potentially help improve their jiu-jitsu practice, whether it's kind of like mobility flows or HIIT kind of workouts, again, all to aid in your regular practice. I think that's something that can be sustainable, even after everything happens and once things start to normalize.
Okay, thank you for those insights, Coach Mara. And finally, Coach Andy, what are your pros and cons to online coaching, and do you think it's sustainable?
Mostly, yes. I agree with Jolly and Mara about some other pros and cons ng online workout. Like, yun nga, hindi din lahat is may access sa strong internet. Then, about siguro sa pros na ng online workout or online training is yun nga, mas nakaka-reach out tayo sa mga student natin na hindi rin busy before sa works nila or other stuff bago nagkaroon ng COVID. So ito rin yung time na nakakapag-training sila na mas flexible. Then, yun nga, na this time din, ito rin yung time na mas nakapag-focus kami sa other stuff like paano nila palalakasin yung katawan nila through body workout. na then yung mga injuries nila is na nakapag-rest din, and eventually nakapag-heal. Then about naman sa mga cons ng online training is yun nga, is sobrang hirap, especially kung sanay ka sa 1 hour sparring at all na iba't ibang tao. Then ngayon, out of the sudden, ikaw lang mag-isa. Then luckily, kung meron kang kasama sa bahay na nag-jiu-jitsu din or engaged din sa same sport na ginagawa mo, so okay yun. Pero para dun sa iba na mag-isa sila, yun yung medyo mahirap kasi hirap talaga mag-adjust. Pero yun nga, tao tayo. Kaya nga tayo nandito is kasi marunong tayo mag-adjust. So mas na kakagawa tayo ng mga ideas kung paano natin i-develop um, yung mga techniques kahit na mag-isa. Pwede tayong like yung mga guard recovery, pwede yan gawin mag-isa. Then strengthening ng core, upper and lower body. So kung about sa or being sustainable, I think yeah, is sustainable naman, pero like iba pa rin din kasi yung physically na nakaka-interact ka sa student mo, nararamdaman mo kung ano yung mali sa ginagawa niya kaysa sa nakikita. Para sa akin, mas malaking bagay yon. Parang para sa akin, kasi may iba't iba yung klase ng learning ng tao eh. May learning na through visual. Ako, learning ko is through physical interaction talaga. So, ayun. So, medyo mahirap pero kakayanin natin lahat. Yun lang.
All right, thank you all for your answers. And for the next question, looking ahead, when academies do reopen, what are some challenges you think you'll face and how will you overcome them?
So the challenges for me siguro, well, meron tayong mga binabayarang rentals for the gym. So that's my number one challenge siguro right now because I'm very sure once the ECQ is lifted na and with regards to yung operations ng gym specifically sa atin, feeling ko may uncertainty pa rin sa mga students to go back to the gym kasi hopefully when pag nag-lift na sila, may gamot na, and yun naman yung number one priority natin is the safety of everyone and mostly our students, our staff. So yun yung number one priority ko, and that's the number one challenge, like how to go back, like hindi na nga, we can't go back to normal, but how do we go forward from this? So right now I'm not thinking that far ahead muna, like for me, what's important is right now, what we have right now, and kung ano yung pwede natin gawin. So, by that time, siguro, dun ko na lang iisipin. But ngayon, yung naiisip ko pa lang na dapat gawin is talagang to sanitize, to make sure that everything's clean. Yung mga materials na pwedeng ilagay, for example, like yung mga mats na may parang solution that can clean their shoes or what, yung mga ganon, yung mga basic ano pa lang, cleanliness and all. But so far yun pa lang muna. So kasi we have an enemy that we can see eh. Alam mo yun, kung nakikita lang natin yan, we can defend ourselves, but as of now wala pa eh. So I'm totally blind about what's gonna happen next. But I'm just keeping my faith and everything will go back to not go back, but everything will be fine in the future.
Yes, that is something we are hoping for. And Coach Mara, what would you say are some of the challenges that you may face when your gym reopens?
Same sentiments as Jolly. For us, it's a challenge because one, not only are we a fitness gym, but the nature of our sport and how close contact it is, it makes it a lot riskier. Just diving back into thinking that we can just go back to how we used to train right away, that kind of thing. Yeah, I think ultimately what for Origins Athletics, we're just waiting for the proper government guidelines and what they suggest to do and how to open, and what we should be doing in terms of assuring the safety of our coaches, staff, and our students. One thing that we did to do even prior to the lockdown once like the cases started getting really bad, we started implementing stricter sanitizing procedures. So we invested in a couple of like high-tech cleaners, like a UV robot cleaner for the mats, heavily sanitizing after each class, making sure that we have alcohol and just kind of sanitizing materials available across the gym so that it's easy for people to just make sure that their hands are always clean before and after coming into the mats. We've also invested in a couple of non-contact thermometers. So all of these small things that we can do just to assure the students, staff, and coaches that we are taking this seriously. Everyone's safety and health is our utmost priority. I mean, at no point will we ever sacrifice that just to train. I mean, we all miss training. We all want to train and we're all like super hungry and just want to dive back into it. But I don't think just diving back right into it without like thinking about it and being very cautious about it is the smartest thing to do for our students, for our coaches, and for everyone. Another thing that we're also just trying to think about is trying to restructure how we can go back and for students to feel safer. So maybe when like the government does allow fitness facilities and gyms to open again, we were thinking if people aren't extremely comfortable with big group classes, offering more options for private training, small group privates, so that you can kind of limit the number of people in your class and you know exactly who you're training with. I think that's a really good way to slowly transition back into more regular open group classes with a lot of people, just so that you know who your training partners are, so that if anything does happen, it's easy to kind of contact them and get in touch with everyone. I think it'll be very difficult having new students come, especially with the nature of our sport, trying to get people to train like, okay, we're gonna like choke each other and hug each other aggressively. I think that's gonna be a really hard sell to new people to try and get into the sport. So I think that will be a big challenge, because I think getting our older students back to come back to training will eventually happen. It'll just take time for people to get comfortable. But it's that hurdle of trying to acquire new students, opening up the sport to more people and introducing jiu-jitsu to them. I think even if people are interested in learning, there will be that apprehension of trying it out first, because of the nature of it and with what's going on with the virus. So I think until that settles down, acquiring new students or getting newer people into the sport will be like a really big challenge for gym.
Are you considering having your students wear face masks during training?
I don't know if that'll be safe, especially when you're like really sparring and you start to like heavily sweat. I don't want to kind of hinder the breathing of the student. So yeah, I mean, if we're still at that point where you have to wear a face mask if you want to spar, maybe if you're doing reps or you're doing drills, maybe that might be okay. But if we're still at that point where they will require us to wear masks, I don't think then it's that safe yet to like have full-on contact training with others. Yeah. I don't think I'd be comfortable with that either.
Yeah, that actually doesn't sound very comfortable. But Coach Annie, if we could get your take, what challenges do you think you'll face once your gym reopens?
Yes, same with Jolly and again and Mara. Siyempre, unang-una is yung paano mo ma-win yung trust ng student mo na bumalik. Siyempre, with this happening, yung slowly nag-invest kami ng like yung mga means yung about sa sanitation, mas inano namin, mas pinokos namin, like mas bumili ako unti-unti ng mga panglinis, then yung mats na ilalagay bago pumasok ng gym, yung parang aapakan ng mga student, then pag-spray ng paligid. So yun yung first muna, then non-contact thermometer, then alcohols. In the same time, naisip ko rin, like same with Mara, yung small classes lang, parang kasi mahirap naman talagang, sa ngayon, yun yung I think, best option is pag naging okay. In the the same time, naisip ko rin, like, same with Mara, yung small classes lang, parang kasi mahirap naman talagang, sa ngayon, yun yung pinaka, I think, best option is, pag naging okay na lahat, is yung, parang, instead na 3 hours, regular 3 hours namin, gawin na lang namin an hour, 1 hour class, then small group of people na pwedeng mag-training para mas madali nga naman i-trace and at the same time, mas lesser yung exposure sa ibang tao. Then as kami naman, as instructors, plan namin to have tests, like for COVID tests, para ma-sure din namin sa student namin na kami mismo is negative kami sa virus. Then siguro, so far, kung by that time is okay na din yung affordable naman yung test by that time, maybe we will require our student then to have the certification na wala silang sakit or anything. Yun nga, pag okay na yung lahat. So yun lang yung mostly nakikita kong challenges ng team is paano namin ma-win back yung trust, yung trust ng student na bumalik na mag-training ulit dito sa gym.
Thank you, Coach Annie Ramirez, and thank you to all our panelists for this portion of the discussion. Before I let you go, do you have a parting message for the community?
I just want to tell everyone that actually I felt like mas lumakas yung community ng jiu-jitsu during this pandemic. Parang everyone's reaching out to everyone. And we're going through this thing all together. So let's just all stay positive and take it one day at a time. So we can all train soon, I'm sure. But in the future pa, it's uncertain. But I'm just praying for everyone. Always be safe and huwag kayong magmadali. Nandito lang naman tayo lahat eh. So our health is more important than anything else, 'di ba? Kapag hindi tayo healthy, paano tayo magte-training? So we just have to take care of ourselves and stay home.
Nice. Thank you, Coach Jolly. And Coach Mara, do you have a parting message for the community?
Same with what Jolly said. I think the everything that's happening has made the community a lot stronger. We've seen people from different gyms, different affiliations, just kind of share with everyone in the community what they're offering, how they can help, whether it's supplying mats, online classes, theory classes, so many different options for a practitioner to kind of dive into in this time that we can't do physical training. So I think that's a really a good thing that's come out of such a hard situation. One thing I guess that I'd like to share with the community is, I know it's super frustrating not to be able to train, from being able to train every day without worry or fear to literally zero. What's helped me a lot fight off that frustration is just shifting that mindset, right? So instead of thinking of all of the missed training or all of this time that you're not training, again, try to reframe that and focus, what can I do to help improve my jiu-jitsu training when I do come back? Because there's so many other things that we can do right now that we can control and that we can do at home without a gym or without a training partner, that can really have some effects or some benefits to when you do come back to training. So that's one thing that I like to tell my students, I like to share with the people that I do my online classes with, because a lot of the times you just hear that I'm so frustrated, I'm so scared that when I come back, I'm gonna be like so shitty, like I'm gonna suck and everything. But I want to remind them, we're all gonna suck when we get back. Our timing is gonna be off. Our cardio might not be as good. We're not gonna be all at that competition level or peak that we used to be, right? But if you can heal those injuries that have been bothering you for years, if you can maybe work on that mobility, so maybe your guard retention could be a little bit better, I think that's something that'll help you or everyone get through this with like a better mindset, right? So instead of focusing on that aspect of what we can't do, focus on the things that we can do right now. And jiu-jitsu will always be there. I mean, we will come back. I think this will make the community stronger. It'll help everyone just kind of work together, pull together, and once we can train again like normally, I think it's just gonna be a lot better, even than what it was before.
That's awesome. And last but not least, Coach Annie, do you have a parting message for the community?
So ang final message ko is stay strong, guys. Stay active, and huwag tayong mawala ng pag-asa na, I mean, looking forward, malalagpasan natin lahat yung nangyayari ngayon. Siguro, may dahilan to, hindi lang natin ngayon medyo nakita kung ano, or like sinabi nga ni Mara and Jolly, it's time para, maybe ito yung time para i-heal natin yung mga injuries natin, eventually para pagbalik natin sa jiu-jitsu ulit is like we had 100% na tayo, like yung injury natin, nakapag-rest, then like yung mga other na mga mahihina natin, like yung lower body, upper body, na pwede naman natin palakasin habang nasa mga bahay tayo. Para pagdating ng araw na makapag-training na tayo ulit, nandun tayo 100%. In the same time, huwag tayo mag-give up kasi di naman natin to pagdadaanan kung hindi natin malalagpasan eh. Yun lang. Nasabi na nila lahat. So,
Well, thank you, Coach Annie. Thank you, Coach Jolly and Coach Mara, for joining us today. Our next speaker has been a pivotal part of the growth of martial arts in the Philippines. He's the president and founder of the URCC, the president of the Wrestling Association of the Philippines, president of DefTac Philippines, and is the first Filipino BJJ black belt, Mr. Alvin Aguilar. We're very happy to have Mr. Alvin Aguilar here, and we're just going to jump right into it. Question number one is, how has the pandemic affected the URCC and its fighters?
Oh, of course. What do you call that? Totally, we had to put everything on hold. When it first started, I thought that maybe the Philippines would be spared because we didn't get hit as hard initially. When I saw it happening in China, then everybody said it might spread. As a matter of fact, I even had the wrestling WAP nationals, the wrestling and the grappling nationals. I had everybody come all over the Philippines to go here. Buti na singit namin. But then we actually had so many events scheduled after that, even for the URCC. But then, we got to take care of everyone first. So all of the events got canceled. As a matter of fact, we have one of our champions who's actually stuck right now in Thailand, John Adahar. He went over to Thailand in the Fairtex camp to train for his fight. And what happened was he got stuck there. There's no flights going out to Thailand, and there's no flights going to be accepting him here. His wife, who's a counselor, Counselor Carla Adahar, actually also wrote the Game and Amusement Board. I've also written the Game and Amusement Board as well to see what we could do. Now, of course, our GAB chairman's been doing everything he can to help him out. But then, right now, there's just no flights that we can, he's stranded there. As for the other fighters, there's nothing we can do. We don't have any events. There's just absolutely nothing. But then, what do you call that? We're putting a lot of things into motion that we can, as soon as the regulations are a little bit relaxed, we're going to go full speed ahead.
That all sounds very exciting, Prof. And I'm sure you've noticed that the UFC has resumed having fight cards. I was wondering what it would take to get the URCC back in action.
First off, I heard the hotels are going to be open already. They're going to be given, some sort of limited capacity, limited, operations. So I'll see what their guidance is there first. But, it's the first things first. We have to make sure everybody's safe, okay? Now, there's two schools of thought. People will say that, this only affects those who have, pre-existing conditions or whatever. I mean, may chamba. You can be as healthy as possible. Even Roger Gracie got, this guy's the greatest jiu-jitsu guy, has all the medals. And he got sick, and he looked really, really sick when even after he was interviewed. And then just the same also, I mean, there's old people just dying. And, but then, Oh, let me just also give another example. My cousin in the States, she got it. She had it for about 6 days. After on the eighth day, when seventh or eighth day when she tested negative, she and her coworkers all went back to work like nothing. It was just like a normal flu for them. It's a different culture there. For the people in the U.S., it's just like a normal flu. Like I know two guys. They went back to work right away in the U.S. and they said that everyone else is doing the same thing there. Maybe it might work there because things are a little bit more advanced and they respond faster. Here, medyo delikado yan because as we all know, there's problems, diba? I don't want to get into that, but first things first, we have to make sure everyone's safe. The worst thing would be that I'll be part of the people spreading the second wave. Because I'm sure after all of these regulations have been lifted, everybody else started going to malls, everyone's in the street again. And I've seen a lot of people, what do you call that? Naka-mask nga. When they start talking to people, tinatanggal nila yung mask para magsalita. I mean, I've actually seen this. So, I don't want to be part of the people who will help out the second wave if ever it happens, diba? So what I'm thinking of doing is actually just having, just like what the UFC did, even though ang lungkot panoorin, they had their event, nobody was there, but at least the fight fans get their fill. And, the fighters have to fight. Okay, fighters always have to fight. I mean, you're only in shape for a certain period of time in your life. And because of this, all of the athletes, all the fighters are all affected. Imagine 1 year ka walang laban. Diba? Same thing for all of those people training for the Olympics. A lot of people could have been sure gold medalists in the Olympics this year. But then now that they're going to get a year older, they're going to stagnate and everything will go down. So, this really affected everybody.
And what is your take on other combat sports? Do you think we'll see any combat sport competitions this year?
Yeah, for other competitions, that's the same thing that goes for everything. I mean, in the U.S., they've already started grappling competitions already. They've been several. Actually, one of our teammates won yesterday, Rafael. But again, that's in the U.S. where there's places there in the U.S. that the states are open already, and there's absolutely no cases. But that's not the case here. We cannot actually say that there's no cases anywhere because we don't have enough testing equipment, diba? So, yun pa. I wish I could, be more positive about things, but then I always, I always on the safer side when it comes to these things. I don't want to be responsible for people getting sick or anything like that. That comes for URCC, for DefTAC in training. I know in the US, a lot of gyms, while this was going on, they were just having training underground, okay? They didn't care. Sige. Okay, I know some gyms are doing that here also. I mean, to each his own. Me personally, I never left the house. I didn't even go to my garden until the 46th day because I had 8 neighbors that died here. So I had to make sure because I didn't really know what this was until finally when we got more educated about what was going on, then I started going out of my garden.
Yeah, but thinking optimistically, how soon do you think we could have another URCC event?
When this happened, the initial forecast from everybody was September. By September, people will have a more semblance of life back to normal. I mean, I really hope so. I mean, there's no harm in hoping. I've actually scheduled the next URCC for 9/11, so we're waiting on that. Our venue is already secured. Everything, of course, we're going to be in the Okada, but again, everything's up in the air. We're not confirming and we're not discounting it either because we don't know what's happening yet. The second wave, the third wave. Korea the other day was supposed to start its classes, but then after that, 2 kids went positive. So it was 3 hours before they started classes. They had to cut it back and everybody had to go back home. So there's these things dealing with all of this. Okay, there. So like Japan, for example, they didn't have any quarantine measures in place, but these guys are so responsible and so disciplined, and they've dealt with this before. So it was just like, okay, we'll deal with it. Tayo dito, impossible. We have people who are, we have people na nakatambay na nga, wala na ng trabaho, sila pa may ayuda, tapos sila pa nagkakalat ng sakit. So it's different.
Yeah, that's unfortunate that we're not as disciplined as other countries. And when it comes to social distancing, it's very important right now, but jiu-jitsu seems to be the opposite of social distancing. how can jiu-jitsu athletes adapt to this situation?
That's an excellent question about the jiu-jitsu. Now, when it comes to jiu-jitsu, grappling, or anything like that, okay, uh, if you allow your skills to diminish, that's on you. Okay? You have to have a strong mind to keep it up. All of us, before MMA became mainstream here, jiu-jitsu became mainstream here, we all trained in our garage by ourselves. And there's so many online lessons. There's so many grappling dummies. You can just get someone in your house and have them help you out. At least you have a live body. There's so many solo exercises. So if you allow your skill to diminish, that's on you.
Yes, I couldn't agree more that our progress really depends on us. And while jiu-jitsu is a really close quarter martial art, other martial arts like arnis actually offer better spacing between combatants because of the weapons and the sticks. Do you think there's an opportunity here for arnis or FMA to gain some steam?
FMA needs to really get a big boost. I don't like the trend that the people who didn't make it in MMA, jiu-jitsu, Muay Thai, boxing, they go to FMA. So people can say, oh, we're too deadly with our sticks and our knives. And, because there's not that many arnis competitions either. I want our FMA practitioners and athletes to be just as conditioned as all of the combat athletes. If you look at the US and Europe, our students there, some of them just do FMA, but they're conditioned like, they're doing combat sports. You look at the FMA guys here, my gosh, they have the stomachs on them, they're out of shape, they get out of breath after a few drills. I mean, that shouldn't be an example. They should hold themselves to higher standards. So that's what I have to say about FMA. And I can talk about FMA because I'm an instructor in 5 Filipino martial arts styles, and I've done FMA since I was 9 years old. It's a family tradition from my grandfather to my father to me. So we've all trained. So I want to see it always come up. Actually, if you notice, I started a YouTube channel, and what I've been doing there is I've been showing little bits and pieces of FMA. I did a knife one to, show people the common misconceptions, because I see so many people who've never been in a knife fight teaching people how to fight with knives or how to defend with knives. And I was like, oh my God, this thing will get people killed. So I just wanted to clear up the misconceptions. So there. I really hope that the best for FMA happens. Maybe this would be an opportunity for FMA and for everybody out there, na Pinoy. I mean, you guys should learn Filipino martial arts. We have the best stick and knife fighting art in the world. Is it in the world? Nobody can dispute that. Now, as opposed to the other arts that are around it, I have to say this because this is true. Dumog does not exist. Okay, Dumog is actually the creation of some Filipino masters years ago that did some judo with the U.S. servicemen and did judo with other people, and then they said it was Dumog. Okay, that's just basically so they could keep teaching. Okay, because it's very fast to learn FMA. If you have a good teacher, he'll teach it to you really, really fast. So if you notice, you have a lot of Dumog guys who watch the jiu-jitsu video here and there. Then after that, they're doing this bootleg stuff and calling it Dumog. That's not real. That's not true. Okay, I'm born and bred here in the Philippines. I have instructorships in 5 Filipino martial arts, straight from their founders. And a lot of the old timers told me the story about, this is just judo and aikido from World War II and from the other countries that they decided to use so they could keep teaching other people. As much as I want us to have our own grappling art, there really is none.
Mm-hmm. Okay, well, thank you for clarifying that, Prof. And before I let you go, do you have a message that you want to send out to the local combat sports community?
Okay, yeah. For the FMA community, it's like this. Throughout time, the only constant thing is change. And only the people who are able to adapt to change are the ones who will thrive, or else you won't survive. Okay, oh, that rhymes. Anyway, so you have to make sure that we all make our proper adjustments. So we can't do this, okay? Find an exercise that copies that, okay? We can't learn, you have an online resource. You have so many instructors now out there who are qualified, who can teach you. So don't let this thing get in our way, okay? Don't let this virus beat us. I mean, it took away a big part of our lives, all of us. But let's not let it beat us, because if you're an MMA fan, it means deep inside you're really a fighter. So let's fight this together. How do we fight this together? Let's take back our lives in any way we can. Okay, so I hope you guys, continue training. Don't stop. Okay, it might feel funny drilling with a chair, drilling with a dummy that you made, or drilling with whoever it is in your house, or doing solo drills. I mean, the vibe of the gym is so much fun. Iba yan with your friends, you're messing around and stuff. But this is our reality now, and we just have to adjust to it, or else, we'll just die out.
Those are some great words of wisdom from Alvin Aguilar. And thank you again, Professor. Thank you to all our panelists, and of course, everyone who tuned in. That ends our panel discussion, and I hope you all picked up some new information or some insights regarding the martial arts that we love. But before I go, we have another raffle winner, a Mr. Artemio Dote Mancol. Congratulations, you've won a gift certificate care of Ikiro Jiu-Jitsu. Also, thank you to Dojo Active, which will be providing prizes for those who pre-registered. So that does it for me. This is Gab for Dojo Drifter Media. Don't forget to stay connected and check out our social media pages and of course our website dojodrifter.com for all things mixed martial arts.